Welcome to the first Appalachian Trail gear intense review. I actually had the first concept of this back when I was on the Appalachian Trail, and I had planned to try and do some gear reviews while I was still out there, but to be honest with you, most of the times at the end of the day, you were just too tired to do anything like that, and you just wanted to, eat some food and chill out and go to sleep. So what are we going to review today? Well, let's take a look at the camping quilt that I took with me on the Appalachian Trail, and that's the UGQ Bandit XL. Now, I know that they no longer make an XL line, that you can actually just get the Bandit in different sizes. However, when I bought this a few years ago, it was the Bandit XL. So you might want to ask what the specifications are, and I'm going to list them now. Okay, now that we got the Graham Weenie stuff out of the way, let me tell you about how this performed. Bottom line up front is I'm very happy with this quilt. There are a few things I would change if I was going to buy it all over again. So what did the quilt come with? Well, you see the bag that's for storage. It came with a stuff sack, and I opted for the ultralight pad straps. And let me just say right now, this was something that I would change if I was going to buy another one. You see those little toggles right there. They fit into cloth loops on the quilt. And putting these in and out of those little cloth loops can be a little tricky at times, can be a little, bit of a pain in the butt versus something that were, just clips in. And honestly, compared to a regular strap, I don't think I really saved that much weight by going with these. But, I was being a Graham Weenie at the time. So that would be one recommendation. If you were going to get a UGQ quilt, just get the regular straps. Don't worry about the ultralight ones. So the quilt itself, I went with a black interior with this blaze orange outside. And that's twofold. One, I'm a Philadelphia Flyers fan, and their colors are, black and orange. Secondly, I went with this color for the outside in case, I was in distress and something happened to me. I could use this to signal aircraft that were flying above. Hopefully this would stand out better than, if I had a quilt that was, black or blue or something like that. So this is the 30-degree version of it. I have had this down into the low 20s, which I supplemented this by just putting on some additional layers, and it performed very well. I got overstuff in both the foot box and the body. I think only 1 ounce in each. I might have gotten 2, I don't remember. And that was just kind of to extend the life of the bag. So yes, it did add a little additional warmth to it, but more so, it was to extend the life of it when the feathers get worn out, that you overstuff it like that. Some other features that I went with, I did not go for a sewn foot box. I went for the drawstring and zipper, which proved to be very helpful in the warmer weather. That way I could just open it up and use it like a blanket or vent as needed. Some people don't like the drawstring bottoms because, there's always that minuscule hole. All you have to do is put a sock in it, put a shirt in it, something like that, and that'll block the hole. So to me, it was no big deal. I think the benefit of having an unsewn foot box far outweighs any of the drawbacks. One thing I did get with this also, and I believe it's called the dynamic tension control, and it's towards the bottom of the quilt. You'll see there's a piece of shock cord and elastic band right there with a toggle on the end to control the tension. And what that does when you pull that tight, it kind of cinches up, and hopefully I can demonstrate this well, cinches up the side of the quilt. That helps prevent drafts, and let me tell you, that's a fantastic little innovation that they've got going. I don't know any other quilt company that does something like that. If you have, let me know in the comments below. But this really goes a long way towards cinching that quilt around you and really blocking out the drafts. Also got the draft collar for the top of it. I wouldn't waste my money on this, and the reason why is, so this is towards the middle of it. You see how kind of thin that is and how thick it is on the sides. The down travels down. The down spreads off to the sides because, it's, I guess, a horizontal construction instead of vertical. And there's no baffle sewn into it. So it's just a tube. And over time, the down just moves towards the sides. So every night, what I'd have to do is shake my bag to force the down back to the center. But in the morning, it would be like this. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, I don't know. But in a future quilt from UGQ, I wouldn't bother with that. It's, that's my personal preference. Maybe you dig it. That's just my recommendation is, don't waste the ounces or the cash getting that put in there. And also, this is the 800 fill version. I compared the cost and the weight for getting a higher fill, like an 850 or a 950. You really, at a 30-degree level, you really don't save that many ounces with like a 950 fill, but the cost really does go up a lot. I would recommend, however, if you're looking at a 0-degree quilt, go with the 950. It's going to cost you more money, but with a warmer bag like that for colder weather, you're using a lot more down. So the 950 would come into play versus an 800 and really would make a difference with your weight. Now, one thing I wish I would have done on the Appalachian Trail, probably around Harper's Ferry, roughly the halfway point. So I wish I would have washed this sucker, but I didn't. And looking back on it, my recommendation would be at least at the halfway point, get some nick wax down direct and about 3 tennis balls. Wash your quilt with the down direct, put it in the dryer with the tennis balls, low temperature, and wash it. And the reason why I say that is I noticed towards the end of my hike, especially on the chest area of the quilt and up around the neck, just from perspiration and everything else, the down was definitely not as fluffy as it once was. And that has to do with, the sweat passing through it and body oils and grime and everything like that. So it did flatten out some. And really that was noticeable in Maine. So yeah, that would be my recommendation if you are doing a through hike. Maybe about the halfway point, give it a good washing. So, everybody's a little bit more susceptible to the cold than other people. This 30-degree quilt really did it for me. And UGQ, their ratings are comfort ratings. In fact, I think they underestimate their comfort ratings. This one, you could probably go down to about 25 degrees comfort. And that's sleeping with like a base layer on. There are a few times, both here in Colorado and out in the Smokies, we got down to the low 20s, and let me think, I had on, base layer pants. I didn't have on hiking pants. I might have put them on. I might have put them on in the Smokies, but the top was just whatever I was hiking in, plus my my mid layer, hoodie. I didn't bust out my my down jacket or anything, and that was enough to stay nice and warm. I did not have any nights where I was just like, miserably cold or anything. No, oh shit. Sorry. I was pretty comfortable the entire time. If anything, it was just like in Virginia and places like that when it was really hot. Definitely could not use this. It was just, unbearably hot out, and yeah, you didn't want anything laying on top of you. So I would recommend, if you are going to get a UGQ quilt for your through hike, like I said, their temperatures are pretty much spot on, so don't think you're a cold sleeper, so you need to get the 0-degree quilt. Or no, I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend getting something, honestly, like a 30-degree quilt would be fine to hike the trail with. If you're starting in, like I started in March, you might even be good in February, because like I had done, you can supplement the warmth of this by putting on your puffy, putting on your base layers, if you have some, sleeping socks and stuff like that. I definitely would not start my hike in March with a 0-degree bag from the, or 0-degree quilt from them. That's just absolute overkill. Would I use the quilt if I was going to do it again? Absolutely, 100%. I'm such a fan of the UGQ brand that I just purchased a 40-degree quilt from them. Did not get the draft collar, but the same kind of configuration. I think, I went 800 fill on that too. Really light. It was like 17 ounces total weight. And going to use that this summer when I finish up the Colorado Trail. So there you go. I just announced what my plans are for the summer. So there it is. There is my intense review of my UGQ Bandit XL. If you have any questions about it, please post it below. If you have a Bandit or one of the UGQ products, let us know what your thoughts are on it. Like I said, I'm a big fan, enough to buy another quilt, and hopefully you guys out there will become fans too. Well, that about does it for me. I guess we'll call it a day. Talk to you soon.